So in this next topic, just a little bit of a PSA, but I saw an article which talks about how long does it take to charge your EV, and we figured we'd make a PSA as well. And so the question, we're going to answer the question, how long does it take to charge your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y at all three levels? And so if you have just bought a Tesla and you just bought a home charging system, or you're thinking about doing it, this would be a good PSA for you. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best possible price, or just getting really good financing. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. And so let us get into this. Shout out to Inside EVs and Evanex, which is actually a part accessory manufacturer. They did like a sponsored article here. And so the question was, electric car charging, how long does it really take? And so if you didn't know, there are three levels of charging your EV or even your Tesla. And of course, the quickest way is Tesla supercharging. And that usually takes I would say average, like it could take as low as 15 minutes, but most of the time it does take 20 to 30 minutes, at least the amount of time that it takes me at a charger, because I always get to it around 10 to 20% state of charge on your battery. And I leave at about 70 to 80%. And that takes easily 20 to even 25 minutes. Charging from 70% state of charge to 90% takes like double the time that it takes to go from 10% to 70%. So it's not really worth it all the time to charge all the way up to 90%. So superchargers is always the quickest. And of course, it's always the most consistent compared to other networks out there like Electrify America, EVgo, and all these other ones. So that is the quickest, but also the most expensive way to charge your vehicle. You can pay anywhere from 30, 40, 50, maybe even 60 cents a kilowatt, which could really result in $20 to $30 each time you go to a supercharger to get 200, maybe 180 miles. The second rate of speed is of course level 2 charging, and that's when you buy a home charger, you plug it into a 220 volt, and that's really anywhere from however long you want to take. And here are some charging speeds on the screen. You can see it. This is from Tesla.com if you buy their wall connector, and it's really cool because depending on the amp that you plug it into, most people go with like a 30 to 40 amp to get 32 or 24 amps at 240 volts or kilowatt of rate of charge. You can see right here on the screen, depending on which vehicle you actually buy, it can be a certain range of speed. So I would say the average is anywhere from 25 to 30 miles an hour rate of charge. So if you charge for 4 hours, that's like 100 miles of top up. So of course, that might sound slow coming from someone that this is your first EV, but you got to kind of change the way you think about this, right? Because there's no more trips to a gas station where you'll spend 5 to 10 minutes filling up gas. You just go home, go to sleep at night, charge up for 8 hours, 6 hours, and your battery or your battery electric vehicle is 100% or 90% for the next day, and you're ready to go at it. And really what it's meant to be is you're supposed to use level 2 home charging on a daily, and then on road trips you go to supercharging to kind of top off when you need to from 20 to 30 minutes, because that can cost like $20 to $30 at the end of the day. And of course, the worst way of charging is not recommended at all is level 1 charging. That's when you take the mobile connector kit, plug it into a 110 outlet, just like as you would a cell phone, and that charges at a very, very, very low rate of speed. We're talking like 5 to maybe 6 miles an hour. And so that could take 2 days, 3 days at the end of the day. So not worth it 100%. It could probably take even more if you're like a Model S or a Model X. So definitely not worth it. Definitely try and get a charging station installed at your house if you can. And of course, that can cost anywhere from as little as $500 if the breaker box is right next to where you want to install it and you've got enough room, all the way to $15 to $2,000, maybe $2,500 if you have to upgrade the breaker box and all that stuff. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it are. Let me know if you have any other tips or any other tips or tricks on that. I do want to know is like Electrify America and EVgo and all those other stations, how much those cost, because I've actually never been to, well, I've been to one, but I've never like gone through the payment process and all that stuff to see how much it can actually cost. But of course, other EVs out there might have 2 years, 3 years of free charging. I'm talking specifically Kia and Hyundai. So, it's definitely interesting stuff. Maybe even, also even Mercedes has free charging for some of their EVs. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to